Welcome to the Elevate podcast, brought to you by the Registered Master Builders. Each week we explore the ideas and practices that help us get the best from our businesses, our teams and ourselves. We talk to experts, advocates and business owners in the construction industry to share their knowledge, insights and experiences to help you build a better business and enjoy a better life. Now let the business building begin.
Hi, I'm Melanie Cooper, and this is Master Builders Elevate podcast. I'm filling in today for Ryan Castle, our regular host who unfortunately couldn't be here. I'm really pleased to welcome Ankit Sharma, CEO of Master Builders, to our Chiefs chat. It seems that we're really focusing this time on momentum. So why don't we kick in with that? As we move now a bit deeper into 2025, are there signs that the tide might be starting to slowly turn for the building and construction sector?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast, Melina. And the feeling is mutual. I've also enjoyed having numerous conversations we've had around technology and how do we support our members and business. There are three indicators we look at to get a sense of where things are heading. So these are GDP performance, business confidence, and consumer confidence. So if you look at December 2024 quarter, New Zealand GDP grew by 0.7%, recovering from a 1.1% contraction in the September quarter. So that's quite a significant step in the right direction. Similarly, in the business confidence, the ANZ Business Outlook Index stood at plus 62. Businesses feeling confident around the path ahead. And consumer confidence, the ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence Index reached 100.2, entering positive territory for the first time in a year. So as we were getting into 2025, there were a lot of positive signs across all these three indicators. Where we are, we've kind of fallen back a little bit from those sentiments. The GDP has fallen back. I think the expectation is to be around 0.4 for March quarter. Business confidence has come back a little bit. Consumer confidence has come back a little bit too. And I think it's reflecting business and consumer caution due to economic uncertainties and also geopolitical and tariff concerns. So the way we see it, we are cautiously optimistic. We are seeing a slow and steady recovery, which is building into our sector. And we expect that momentum will slowly start building into 2025, leading into 2026. So the recovery would not be short and sharp. I think it's slow and steady, but we are seeing signs of recovery, and it'll probably continue building up in the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay. So I think slow and steady is a nice theme because, the roller coaster has been quite challenging for a lot of people, and that's probably the step back, isn't it?
That's correct.
So what about GDP, and how does that figure into the equation?
So if we are growing as an economy, it drives both consumer confidence and business confidence. And building and construction is a very demand-driven sector. So as you have got higher consumer confidence, people feel more confident in committing to their projects. So I think confidence is quite important. So GDP growth generally drives into business and consumer confidence. That then drives into people wanting to spend more and wanting to commit to projects.
Yeah. And so does things like the recent reductions in official cash rate, has that also affected the sector?
Absolutely. So like I said, the building and construction is demand driven, and consumer confidence is key to support recovery and growth. So there are three major issues that have weighted on consumer confidence over the last 2-3 years. So one is rising construction costs. Second is falling house prices. Third is tight access to finance. Now we are seeing signs of improvement across all these three issues. So construction cost inflation is at lowest level in years. So this will give both builders and buyers more price certainty, which is essential for planning and committing to new projects. The house prices are stabilizing. That gives confidence to existing homeowners and first home buyers that they're not buying into a declining market. And access to finance is slowly improving, with official cash rate now trending down, and further cuts are expected. So mortgage rates have started to ease. And because most of the people in New Zealand have not committed to long commitments on mortgage rates, some of those are flowing back into people's pockets a lot quicker than it has historically. So this is making borrowing more affordable, and it opens doors for more buyers re-entering to the market. So when you combine all these three together, it's all pointing to slow and steady improvement of consumer confidence, and we are seeing that. And we are seeing that in form of increased inquiries across the country.
Okay. And how does the relationship go? So that's fantastic to see those signals improving and people feeling a bit more confident to start building. But what's kind of the lag in terms of inquiries and contracts? What kind of situation do you expect there?
That's a very good question. So we are seeing a lift in inquiries, but a slower transition of those inquiries into sales. So when it comes to people actually signing contracts, it's actually not as fast or as quick as it has been historically. But it's not the same across the country. So there are signs of recovery in the regions. Now, if you look at New Zealand, regions typically drive New Zealand economic recovery. So we are a country that exports a lot of primary goods like dairy, beef, lamb, and horticulture. That regional growth then flows through to urban centers, first to places like Auckland and Christchurch, then to Wellington. That's a typical recovery cycle when there's an economic downturn. And we are seeing the same recovery cycle playing out now. So global prices for our primary products are strong due to shortages overseas. And that's boosting incomes and confidence across our regional economies. And that, as their confidence builds, we are seeing more people in the regions are going ahead with their building projects.
Yeah.
We expect that momentum to slowly start flowing into Auckland and Christchurch later this year and into 2026, and then to Wellington, which tends to follow 12 to 18 months behind. So recovery has started and is flowing through. So we are seeing better conversion rate of inquiries into sales in the regions. And as that economy recovery will then flow into urban centers, we're hoping that to kind of slowly flow through rest of the country. So I would say we are seeing good signs of recovery in the regions. We are now seeing positive signs of those then flowing through to urban centers later this year and building into next year.
That's really fascinating to know that that's kind of the level of research and data that you have that can give you a good bellwether, I guess, for where the market is expected to go. And really interesting that the regions lead it, which I think maybe people wouldn't expect. That's fascinating.
And I think that's the benefit of being a national organization and being very closely connected to our membership across the country. So we start getting a sense of how things are improving and the sentiments and as they are changing across regions.
Yeah. And I know that's something you've worked really hard to do since you've come in as CEO, is to really understand the sentiment in the regions across the whole membership, and really represent the construction industry in building and residential, commercial across the whole country. So I think that's a real testament to the work you're doing. Well, let's change gears a little bit, and actually kind of building on that is the Constructive Regional Summits kicking off, which is a big change as well. So tell me a little bit more about what Master Builders is doing there.
So we are running 8 regional constructive summits this year, and we have now completed 6 of them. And the summits are part of our grassroots push, as you were saying before, to connect more closely with our members in every part of the country. So we are expecting around 1,000 people to attend across the regions, which is absolutely fantastic and well beyond what I had initially expected when we started thinking about summits and going back and connecting back into our membership. Now, every summit has a strong regional flavor. So we focus on issues that matter to our local builders and communities, and also solutions which we think will be relevant for that region. So in every summit, we share regional insights and trends. So that's why we have quite a good understanding of what's happening across every region. We are discussing local challenges and opportunities. We are hosting council representatives to talk about how we can work together on things like improving consenting process. And local councils have been very proactive in attending these summits and talking through ways we can collaborate and do things better to reduce red tape and frustrations, which I think is fantastic. We've invited local MPs to hear directly from the sector and understand some of the challenges and opportunities within the sector. We're also showcasing our national and regional partners who are supporting our members on the ground, and also are hearing from economists on what's happening in the wider economy and specific to those regions. So it's been fantastic. And all these summits are different. We have different focus, which is relevant for what's happening within that region. We've also had some incredible guest speakers, ex-All Blacks, Black Ferns, ex-Olympians, people who have been very successful in their businesses. And they've come and shared their experiences and their lessons in leadership, performance, resilience. And those stories really resonated with me. And I've attended all of them and with our members. And it gives us a fresh perspective of challenges others have faced and how we can apply that within our businesses. And the thing which I've really enjoyed most, and I would say it's probably the best thing which has come out of our summits, is a chance for our members to connect with one another, to share ideas, challenges, and solutions. So when you're a business leader, sometimes when you run a business, it's actually quite a lonely job. And when you go to places like this, you can actually share your challenges with other business owners, and you suddenly realize that you're not alone. Others are facing the same challenges, and it's a great opportunity to share ideas and validate some of the concerns you have. And we are seeing a lot of that. And I think that's probably something which has surprised us and surprised me, the level of connection we have seen, and then probably what we were anticipating. So I'm now really looking forward to a national constructive conference in September, and also how we build on the success of the regional summits we've had this year into next year. But I feel there's real momentum around how we're engaging with our membership and how we're working together. And it'll be exciting to see where we take it from here.
That's fantastic. And, it's interesting in my observation as well that people are coming back to needing connection. And we had a little offline chat about people coming back to office and wanting to come back to office. I think it's similar to people wanting to come back to events, and it's not just about one way sending information. It's really about connecting with each other, being able to have dialogue. And so event attendance is coming back up. And I think it's really, people miss that level of learning from each other. And that's a really powerful way to grow and support each other. So it's fantastic that Master Builders is at the center of that. With Constructive coming up, you've been doing that for quite a while. So how do members, and who is that for, and how do people register to get to that?
So Constructive, we are looking at everything we look at how we organize ourselves, how we connect back into our membership, how do we do events, and we are looking at every area and saying, well, how do we get better, and how do we do more so our members drive more value out of it. So we last year changed the way we ran Constructive Conference, and the first time in a long time we've introduced breakout sessions where we are identifying different conversations which needs to happen for our residential members and for our commercial members, and then we bring experts in to have those. So I think we had 5 or 6 breakout sessions last year, which was very successful. So this year we're expanding that to over 20 breakout sessions, and we also look at the type of conversations we need to have. So the National Conference is setting the agenda for building and construction. So this is where we want to understand what are the key challenges and opportunities for building and construction sector, not just for our members, but at the same time, we also want to talk about what's happening in the world of AI, what's happening in terms of some of the key challenges which are coming from a regulation perspective. How do we create the workforce of the future? So there's a lot of opportunities for businesses to come in and understand where we are, where we need to be, and how do we start plotting this pathway, not just for the whole New Zealand building and construction business, but for their individual businesses. So I think it will be very exciting. So it's a much larger scale. We're getting international speakers. We've got quite a significant representation from the government, from the opposition. We have John Key running a session on how we can look at a long-term infrastructure investment. We have women who are leaders and doing really well in construction sector, and we are talking about hearing their stories and where they're heading and how do we get a lot of diverse talent which is coming into our sector. So very excited. I think it's quite a significant step up from how we have done conferences in past. All the details are on our website. Inviting people to register, and we are seeing some registration coming through. So that's in September, and I am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a very exciting conference and ability to connect.
Wow. And I love the diversity of the themes. So you really thought broadly about what you said, not more widely about what people need for their business as well as the sector. So that's really brilliant. So encourage people to check that out. That'll be in the show notes, and it's on the Master Builders site. So I think we have one more topic that you've been working into is consenting reform. Mm-hmm. So what can you share with us about what's happening with the consenting reforms?
Well, consenting is one of the most common issues raised by our members. So as we have gone and done constructive summits, we have done regional research, and it's consistently come through as one of the big issues which is impacting our members. And so it's something we have been talking about. It's something which is impacting the industry, and it impacts both productivity and it impacts the cost, and it also impacts the time. So time it takes us to build a house and the cost it takes us to build a house gets impacted by the red tape and the regulation. So the current system is slow, it's inconsistent, and all of that then adds more cost in the way we build houses. And it also holds back productivity. And in my mind, it creates a lot of frustration for both builders and clients. Now, interestingly, I think it's creating frustration for local councils too. So they actually want to do better. So as we've gone through our summits and engaged with councils, their desire to do better, their desire to collaborate and have better information. So I almost feel like there's a cross-industry alignment between the central government, within the local government, and with the industry that we need to do something better when it comes to consenting. I think we can do a lot better. So government is looking at some promising changes. So these include a move towards a nationally consistent consenting system. So we've got 66 consenting authorities, all using different systems and processes. So having a consistent system, I think, will make things a lot better. The second thing the government is exploring is the use of technology platforms for things like remote inspections. And the third thing they're looking at is considering risk-based consenting. So where simple, low-risk homes are treated differently from complex, high-risk builds. So that means if it's a simple home, you do less due diligence, which makes sense if you think about it. Then you've got more resources available to focus in areas where there's high risk. All of these I call are very sensible, very pragmatic changes, and they're overdue steps. So we are working closely with the ministers, with the local councils, with government officials as the details are being developed. Our focus is to make sure that these reforms are practical and achievable, and most importantly, they're actually making a meaningful change for our sector. So we are providing a lot of input into that process. And to be fair, both the central government and local government have been very open to having those conversations. So I'm very confident that with the work we are doing, with the work the government is doing, and the level of engagement we're getting from the local councils, we will start making some meaningful change in this space.
Yeah. And I love that everybody's identified it's an area for improvement and everybody's collaborating on improving it, because I know that it is a common source of complaint. And like you said, it doesn't help anybody. It just increases cost. That will make a big difference. Fantastic. Well, it's been brilliant to have this chat with you, Ankit. I'm really excited about some of these changes and some of the great work you're doing. So the regional summits, it sounds like it's just building into what you're going to take into the national summit, the conversations you're having, the feedback you're getting, and the collaborative effort that you're putting together. So while the sector might be, on a slow but steady improvement, it sounds like Master Builder is actually ramping up quite quickly in how you connect with your members and really create momentum for what kind of changes are needed to support the sector. So thank you so much. Do you have any last comments you'd like to share before we close out?
Thank you for having me. I think you're absolutely right. This is how I see it. Sector is slow and steady. We are working really hard to make sure our members have got momentum behind them. So when there's a recovery happens, we're extremely well placed to take advantage of it. And recovery won't happen overnight, but I think strong foundations are there. So my only comment is if we stay focused, we work together, and we keep pushing for the right changes, I believe we will see the sector get back on being strong and steady again.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thanks all to listening in. Please subscribe and share this to anyone that you know that would also benefit from hearing what Master Builders is doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.